Welcome back to Face It with Dr. G. I'm Dr. G, and I'm excited to be back here with you guys. By myself, no guest today, but next week on Monday, we are filming with another really spectacular guest, and we're so excited. So if you have any interest in being a part of this podcast or know anybody that you think would be a good fit, please send us a message either on Instagram over at GFaceMD, or you can send us an email. You can send that over to Rachel@gfacemd.com, and it's RACHEL. So today I thought, let's just talk about education from a different perspective and how coming from someone such as myself with a background as a continual learner, always wanting to expand my mind and brain, how did I translate that over into my business, and how has that changed with the different phases of GFaceMD? And I thought I would go through a little bit of what we've gone through recently, structurally and educationally from the back end, and then give you some tips and tricks, and then also some little hints about what's possibly coming in the future. And I think a lot of our audience on this podcast is in the aesthetic medical space. Some of you guys aren't, but I know you just like to hear kind of what happens over here behind these walls. So from an educational standpoint, as you all know, I'm a dermatopathologist, and pathologists inherently and innately, I guess, are continuous learners. They're the quote-unquote doctor's doctor. We like to know the answer. I'm very visual, and I want to be able to give someone else guidance, such as a surgeon, plastic surgeon, whoever it may be, on what their treatment for the patient will be. And I love being that answer. I love being able to guide treatments and guide surgeries. And as a dermatopathologist, this is much more of a niche. So you are focusing on the skin excisions, or you're guiding those Mohs surgeons on how they're going to take the majority of the cancerous cells out of the patient and how wide are the margins. And so I love that. And as a pathologist, you're always learning and growing. It's very similar to aesthetics, where we're always developing new treatments or different modalities, and also learning about new conditions and unknown conditions. So aesthetics is also the same. We're growing, learning, and I think it's imperative as a business owner to not only care about education, but understand how to provide that education to your providers. And so this is where I struggled for a long time when it was just myself and maybe one or two other injectors that I was growing. I didn't have the understanding or means, the appropriate means to pass that information along to my injectors. So I've gotten a lot better, but I used to be extremely impatient, and I still have a little bit of that impatient energy, but I used to believe that I would say something or do something in front of a learning, aspiring injector, and that they should then just know it and be able to reproduce it and be able to talk about it on camera and all of the things that I do. Well, that's completely unreasonable. Those expectations are not normal, and those providers shouldn't be held to those standards right away. So how do I bridge that gap? Because I'm only one person, and at the beginning of GFace, I was that person that had to train every single person that we hired on this team. It's not like that anymore, but it's what it was. And it's also, it's very invigorating. I love training, I love teaching, but it's also draining, and it also takes away from my time as a provider, especially when I'm the only revenue generator, right? And so this is what I talk to a lot about of my business mentees with, is how do you get past that point? How do you turn the tables so in a way that I have an impact for my injectors that are growing and learning, but they also have the resources even when I'm not available. And previously, I thought those quote-unquote resources were the textbooks and the Google Drives with all of the publications that I have, and this whole long document I have in Google Docs that's 200 pages long now. I'm like, just go read that. Just go open the textbook, just go do this. Well, it's not necessarily that easy, because you have to build a foundation of knowledge in order for things to start making sense. And it also requires a certain type of person to be a self-directed learner, and not everyone's like that. And that's okay. It doesn't mean they're not going to accelerate and excel in the field. Those just aren't ideal for everyone. And so I came up with this incredible idea, and I have a team that has brought my idea to life. And the hint is that maybe one day, hopefully it's going to be available to a lot of you guys for subscription. And we've developed this whole training platform that is all encompassing. It helps with turning machines on and off. It helps with protocols and SOPs, and it's videos and tutorials on treatments so that it bridges that gap. It's all very organized per treatment, and it's interactive. We have quizzes so that so that providers are held to the same standards across the board throughout our company, and those can be customizable. So let's say you subscribed and you wanted to do a different quiz, maybe you can potentially then edit and change the questions so that you felt they were appropriate for your providers. But this whole platform has completely changed the game when it comes to bridging the gap of me with the education coming out of my mouth and showing and hand-holding to then how does a provider, let's say, okay, for example, I trained them on August 1st and they didn't get a patient until September 1st for this specific treatment they were trained on. That's 30 or 31 days when they haven't potentially learned about that treatment or done it or seen it. No one's going to feel comfortable recommending that treatment if they're not confident. And how do they gain the confidence? They gain the confidence by having a place that they know they can go that's easily accessed. They can say, okay, need a quick refresher now. Jawline, let's figure it out. Where do I go? I'm going to watch a video real quick. I'm going to see all the materials I need. I'm going to see what product we use most often. And not only then is that provider going to feel equipped, they're going to be obviously very, very safe, obviously following all the protocols that we have here at GFaceMD. And they're also going to have that confidence to say, I can do this. And what I realized is that when you aren't confident, you aren't going to recommend a treatment to a patient. And that is a huge deal. I had previously trained team members, not necessarily current team members, but previous, but it's just the concept I want to share with you, train them on, for example, Easy Gel. And it was months before we offered Easy Gel. Well, why was it months? Because every single patient in my mind can benefit from Easy Gel. Hands down, it's your own product. We dry your blood, we spin it down. It's naturally stimulating your own collagen. Anyone in their 20s to 80s should be receiving this treatment because it's a biostimulator that's 100% natural and helps with skin health and collagen stimulation and other things in between. So why aren't we offering it? Well, maybe the provider doesn't feel confident, they don't feel trained well enough, and right before they see that patient or they do the treatment, they just feel very, very nervous. So how could I get through all of that? So that's why I've created this platform. I'm really excited. It's changed the game when it comes to my team and my injectors. And we have Sydney here who has developed the entire thing. And what we plan to do is we have it in a certain format now, and we will be potentially switching it over to a different format that we can offer to you guys as a subscription. And it can be a monthly subscription, and it will help give you that confidence, give you that education, give you that knowledge so that you feel you can recommend these treatments. And we potentially will be open to adding other treatments that maybe we don't offer in our current office, but we're learning and growing daily. And I hope that helps you. This is short and sweet, I think, for this podcast, but it took me years to figure out that concept of you can't just tell somebody something one time and show them how to do it and expect that the confidence is there to continue on. And I think we do all experience this when we go to conferences and we go to trainings ourselves. Even if it's a hands-on training, you're then doing it on your own, and this could be weeks later. So how do we continue that knowledge through those gaps, have resources that are easily accessible, and make you feel confident so that you can provide amazing results and also be really, really successful? So I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned for any potential announcements regarding this being available for all of you out there. It's going to be a little bit of time. We want it to be perfect. But let me know your thoughts if this is something you'd be interested in, and I'm happy to share. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you guys next time.